Hey guys, welcome back to another great game of CDH. Before the video, I do want to remind everyone that we're holding a giveaway for a set of custom dragon shields and a neon kamigawa commander deck. And all of the info linked in the corner and down below, so you should check it out. Also, if you're interested in playing with us, hop on our Discord. We have an ever-growing community and we'll love to talk MTG or whatever strikes our fantasy. And another benefit is we often let people know when we play and would love to meet some new people. Alright, block there, kill that. That is trample. Guess I'm just dead on board. Starting us off is Devo and the Locust God. This is a wheel and deal list that uses the Locust God's ability to generate hasty insects whenever you draw for some massive advantage. This is actually a budget deck, and while his list is more affordable, it is by no means less powerful. Next up is Marcus, playing Xur. And while Xur has quite a few different build paths, this is Doomsday Xur. This is a mid-range combo list that uses a few pieces of stax to slow his opponents down, while using Xur to tutor out key enchantments and ultimately win with a Doomsday pile. In the third spot, we have Kupo, and the original ninja Yuriko. This Demir list uses the insane card advantage engine of Yoriko, and with our return to Kamigawa, she definitely got quite a few new toys. This deck can really put up some pressure, and with a little top deck manipulation, you can take the whole table out with a single swing. And bringing up the rear, we have Hidden, playing Shorikai, Genesis Engine. This is actually Mons' list from the CDH TV's channel, and all of the video deck tech linked as well. This is a humility control deck, as Shorikai is not a creature, and can win through humility, unlike a majority of other commanders. And another benefit, it's an outlet for Isochron Dramatic Reversal, and doesn't require haste or a turn to wait. This vehicle has really surprised me, and I definitely love playtesting this deck. But without further ado, let's get on to the gameplay. Hidden actually has a pre-game effect when he puts a Gemstone Cavern into play, exiling a Cyclonic Rift. Devo actually starts the game, just playing a Sheevan Reef. A Marshflats comes out from Marcus, and he ends his turn with an inactive Mox Amber. Kupo has a Phyrexian Walker and a Crow Mox. He imprints an Unsubstantiate and does have an island as land. Hidden has a command tower and taps 2 for an Arcane Signet to hopefully power out his commander the following turn. And at his end step, Devo takes 1 to cast an Op, discard 1 to the bottom, and draw. Devo puts a Mountain into play and casts a Sorcerer's Class. It resolves, and on ETB he draws and discards 2, passing after that. Marcus has an Adhikar Waste and ends his turn with a Demonic Tutor. Kupo plays a command tower, and now is the table worried, as that means Yuriko is coming out. Kupo then heads to combat and sends the Walker at Hidden. There are no blocks, and Yuriko Nijitsu's in. Hidden takes the 1 from the ninja, and she reveals a Mystical Tutor, having the table take an additional 1 as well. With Kupo ending his turn recasting his Walker. Hidden draws and unfortunately doesn't draw the land he needs. Instead, he taps 2 for a Gilded Drake. The Drake resolves and tries to switch with Yuriko, but with a trigger on the stack, Kupo responds with a Chain of Vapor to bounce his commander and fizzle the Drake. Devo untaps and plays a Riverglide Pathway as land. He then taps out to transmute a Teleria West. He did want a Lotus Petal, but after searching his library, doesn't see one, and has to settle on a Mana Crypt instead, which he does cast. Marcus draws and also has a similar fate to Hidden. He doesn't find a land, but does cast a Mystic Remora, but has to end the turn over after that. Well, Kupo liked how his last turn went, and decides to do it again. He sends his Walker back at Hidden as revenge. You sure you don't want to attack someone else? There's a Mana Crypt out.
Yeah, but I'll kill him incidentally, it's fine.
My death is just a byproduct.
And after no blockers are declared, Ninjutsu's in Yuriko, and after damage reveals a Polluted Delta, which is played as land for turn, and he ends his turn recasting the Walker. Hidden draws, but still can't find his 4th mana source. He takes a page out of Marcus's book and casts a Rhystic Study, in hopes to draw into a land eventually, and also gives a card to Marcus off his fish. Devo rolls for his crypt and takes 3.
See? He'll kill himself, too.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, you see, in 12 turns, I'll die. I'll drop
Exactly, a 12-turn clock we got there.
He has a tapped Swiftwater Cliffs, and then casts a Perforos, God of the Forge, paying 1 for the Rhystic. Marcus untaps, pays for fish, doesn't draw land, and passes, with Kupo cracking his delta at end step for a tap Watery Grave. Kupo starts with combat. He sends Yuriko at hidden, with the walker going at Devo. No blocks are had, and Kupo ninjutsus in an ingenious infiltrator. Damage is dealt with 2 Yuriko triggers, revealing a daze and an arcane signet, for an additional 4 damage to the table. And then Kupo draws an additional 2 cards from his infiltrator. He then plays an island as land and recasts his walker. This time at least Hidden gets a draw off his wrist stick, with Kupo then casting a Tetsuko Umezawa, giving another card to Hidden.
I will not.
Okay. God. Oh my god.
No lands?
No, no.
And at 7, I will pass the turn.
Alright. Land. Fuck. This is not good.
No.
I mean, luckily I have still less than 7 cards, but I'm gonna have to pass after this. Devo rolls and takes another 3 from his crypt, with him then tapping out to cast his commander, the Locust God. Hidden gets another draw, and with the god on the stack, Kupo fires off his revealed daze, bouncing an island back to hand. This does give a card to both Marcus and Hidden, but in the end the god is still countered. Marcus untaps and lets his fish die. He draws and finds a tap Mistveiled Bridge. He needs another source of cards and casts a Dark Confidant, letting Hidden draw again. Kupo replays his bounced island and heads to combat. He sends Yuriko at Marcus, the walker goes at Hidden, with Tetsuko and the infiltrator going at Devo. But before damage is achieved, Hidden tries and resculpt the infiltrator to at least limit the damage that Yuriko can do, although his hopes are dashed as Kupo fires off with a Spell Pierce, paying for the wrist stick. With nothing else, damage now occurs, but this time Kupo is the one to respond to his Yoriko trigger, as he mystical tutors. This time he doesn't pay the 1, but the tutor still resolves, with him finding a temporal trespass to put on top. He reveals the trespass and a malevolent hermit off the Yoriko, to hit the table for an additional 13 and draw another 2 cards off his infiltrator. And he ends his turn casting an arcane signet, giving another card to Hidden. Luckily, that last card was finally a land that Hidden needed, as he plays a snow-covered island. He then casts a Lotus Petal and tries for his Hail Mary as he attempts to cast a Humility to shut down the ninja army. But it doesn't work as Kupo casts a Fierce Guardianship. He doesn't pay the 1, but Hidden doesn't have any more interaction, and the Humility is countered. Devo untaps and actually wins his crypt trigger.
How does everyone feel about their hands?
I could use a totally new hand, but I'd be very
I
kind of
kind
sad
of
about
like my hand.
I don't care about what you think, though.
That's valid.
Alright, I'm gonna go with a Teferi's Puzzle Box.
He gives Hidden another card and then plays a tap Lonely Sandbar as land. He's still digging and cycles a Forgotten Cave, but hands the turn over. Marcus reveals a Labman off his Dark Confidant and takes 3. He then puts his hand on the bottom and draws 8 off the puzzle box. Marcus laments his lack of mana and just casts a spellbook, giving another card to Hidden. Kupo draws and then puzzle boxes for a fresh set of 7. He has a Swamp as land and taps 3 for a Spell Seeker. He does pay for the wrist stick, but Marcus responds with a Silence. He gives a card to Hidden, and while Kupo doesn't like the silence, he does let it resolve, searching out a Scheming Cemetery from the Spell Seeker. Combat is then held, and the Walker and Infiltrator head at Marcus. Yuriko heads at Hidden, with the Infiltrator going at Devo. There are no blocks, but before damage, Marcus passes the Infiltrator. Kupo doesn't want to lose his ninja, and attempts to Narset's reversal it, but the table reminds him that the silence is still in effect, and he has to take that back, with Hidden also getting a draw off his wrist stick from the path. The ninja is exiled, and Kupo finds a basic island, with damage then happening, and the Yuriko trigger revealing an Ash Barrens, allowing the table to survive at least one more turn. Hidden draws and puts 12 to the bottom for a fresh set from the puzzle box. He now has found his lands and plays a Tundra. He then casts a Mana Crypt. He's not sure what he wants to do and decides on casting Shorikai. He has 3 mana left, but decides on just passing for now, discarding a few lands and a Malevolent Hermit due to hand size. Devo wins another Crypt Trigger and draws and then puzzle box 5 cards away. He has a Mount in his land and taps 4 for a Stranglehold. He does pay the Rhystic and then pays 2 to level up his Sorcerer's class. Marcus reveals an Underground River off his Bob and then draws for turn. He puzzle boxes 7 away and then plays a tapped Temple of Enlightenment, scrying the card to the bottom. He takes 1 off his waist and casts a Deafening Silence. He gives a card to Hidden, who then pays 2 life for a Mental Misstep, and Marcus is done after that. Kupo draws and then puzzle boxes 8 cards away. He likes something in his hand, but unfortunately for him, that Demonic Tutor he cast doesn't do much with the Stranglehold in play. Hidden gets another draw, and Kupo then plays an island as land. 2 mana gets him a Lightning Greaves, this time paying for the Rhystic. He equips the Greaves onto Yuriko and heads to combat. His board then heads sideways at Devo. Attackers are declared, but before blocks, Hidden attempts to sword the Tetsuko. Kupo doesn't like losing his unblock ability and casts an Abjure, sacrificing Yuriko and paying for Rhystic. But Davo also has a response, as he forces the Abjure, losing a life and exiling a Ponder from his hand. Hidden draws again, and Kupo responds by forcing the Force, exiling a Reality Shift, and unfortunately not paying for the Rhystic, since he'll need the 2 mana to re-ninjutsu in Yuriko. Still, with everything on the stack, Hidden responds with a Brainstorm to draw 3 and put 2 back. He saves a spicy card 2 down, and then casts his own Force. He exiles a Windfall to the Force of Negation, but damn is this turning into a counter war, as Kupo counters back with a Pact of Negation. Also note, Hidden stops drawing cards off the Rhystic, as he wanted to keep the card he had tucked due to the Brainstorm. And now Marcus throws his hat into the ring, as he casts a Drown in the Lock to stop the Pact. Counters then counter, with the swords actually resolving and the Tetsuko being exiled, with Kupo gaining 1 life. Now back to combat. No blocks are declared, and Kupo then spends the last of his mana to re-ninjutsu in Yuriko.
Land.
And then 1 hits, and...
Yeah!
Ornithopter.
Yeah, your
Oh,
mother! Oh.
On his second main, he re-equips Yuriko and recasts his Phyrexian Walker and the revealed Ornithopter. Hidden draws and then puzzle boxes 8 to the bottom. He plays a Minamo and then realizes he needs to roll for Crypt. He takes 3 in his haste and then for 4 casts an Unwinding Clock. He then taps Shorikai to draw 2, discard 1, and create a pilot token. Moxfield doesn't have a token, so instead he gets a Construct, although the Construct doesn't stay around for long, as Hidden casts a Supreme Verdict to wipe the board. Both Davo and Hidden untap, with Davo taking 3 off his Crypt. He draws and then puzzle boxes for 2. He has a Command Tower as land, and then recasts his Locust God. Hidden gets another draw, and the God resolves, with Perforos pinging the table for 2. At his end step, Hidden activates Shorikai, but has no other response. Both Marcus and Hidden untap, but in the future, I'm not going to mention this, as it gets a little repetitive. Marcus draws, and puzzle boxes away 5. He has a Hall of Heliod's Generosity as land, and taps 4 for his Commander Zur. Hidden draws again, with Marcus following that up with an Energy Field, still not paying for the Rhystic. And at its end step, Hidden Shurikai's again. Kupo draws, and responding to the puzzle box, he flashes out a Thieves Guild Enforcer, paying for the Rhystic, and having everyone mill 2, and kills Zur's Energy Field. He then puzzle boxes 1 card away, and equips the Thieves Guild Enforcer. Kupo debates going to combat, and while he does think either player will block, he doesn't like Zur, and sends the Enforcer at Marcus. Marcus does have to chump with the Zur, and Kupo then ends his turn, with Hidden this time flashing out an Aven Mind Sensor. Hidden untaps and takes 3 from his Crypt. He also has responses to the puzzle box, and casts a Chain of Vapor to bounce the Locust God. He did want an Intuition, but remembered the Stranglehold, and instead just puzzle boxes 10 cards to the bottom. He has an Inventor's Fair as land, and casts a Mox Diamond, discarding a Hollowed Fountain. He then moves to combat and sends the Aven and 2 pilots at Devo to finish him off. On his second main, he casts a Grand Abolisher, and follows that up with a Blasting Station. Hidden also keeps going as he casts a skull clamp. So here's where we did make a small error. Hidden casts a copy artifact to get a copy of the unwinding clock, and the table thought this would give him 2 untaps, but it actually doesn't. Hidden then tries to declutter his board and passes. Marcus untaps, and thinking he has 2 untaps, Hidden activates Shorikai to draw and gain another pilot. Marcus unfortunately doesn't have much, as he just shocks in a watery grave. At his end step, Hidden activates Shorikai again. Kupo untaps, and Hidden Shorikais again. Kupo then heads to combat and sends his Enforcer at Marcus, who doesn't block. And this lets Yuriko come back out. But before damage, Hidden responds by discarding an Ijo, Seed of the Empire, to deal 4 to Yuriko. Kupo doesn't have much else, but flashes back his Thieves Guild Enforcer to mill everyone for 2 more. He re-equips his Enforcer and then pays 3 mana to cast a Talisman of Dominance, with Hidden Shorikaiing at his end step. Hidden untaps and decides the game has gone on for too long. His first move is to take 3 more from the crypt and then really ponder what to do. He doesn't like what he sees and shuffles and draws. He then crews up Shorikai and 2 pilots to finish Marcus off. On his second main, he then skull clamps 2 of his pilots and draws 4 more. And now is everything he needs, as he casts a Merchant Scroll to grab out a dramatic reversal. He then casts a Word of Invention to get his Isochron Scepter, which then lets him go infinite. And with Shorikai and Blasting Station, he can ping Kupo out and win Hidden the game. Game review. Wow, I did not think that game was going to be that long. With both Hidden and Marcus really stumbling on mana, I thought Yuriko was just going to take the game. But I think Kupo actually suffered in not drawing enough ninjas, or to be frank, really anything off the Yuriko triggers. He had plenty of counter magic, but Hidden's Ristic really let him dig out of having no mana, as there wasn't a single land in the top 10 of his library, and without the Ristic he would have been doomed. One thing Davo did let us know after the fact was that he had both Brain Freeze and Underworld Breach in his opening hand, but not having the Lotus Petal actually stopped him from going off, which is the one unfortunate thing of playing budget, or without proxies. But I guess this time the battle goes to the Mechs. Sorry ninjas, you'll have to try again next time. Hey guys, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I just wanted to let you know that we have a TCG affiliate link, and if you ever see a card you want to try, or are inspired to brew something new, use our link when purchasing and we'll receive a small portion of the sale. This is a great way to support the channel, and if you enjoyed the gameplay, please leave a like and subscribe, as it really helps us keep making videos. And remember, never give up, even if you're dead on board. I'll see you guys later.